Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
What is up? What is up? What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Back in the building. It's the man, the myth, the legend. So my daughter says it because she got me this T-shirt for Father's Day. But it is your man, Jelani JB Bodie, host of this thing called the Wait a Minute Show. I'm back in the building once again. Uh, Hopefully y'all been good. I know I've been good. Everybody, hopefully you had a safe 4th of July. And nothing happened. No fingers are lost or anything like that. No jokes, because that stuff just happens. But we are back in the building to talk about sports, right? And let's be honest, a little slow, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's still a lot to talk about when it comes to the world of sports. But I was here before by myself. He's back once again, ladies and gentlemen. Big Mo is in the building. What is up, sir? How are you?
What's up, JB? Hey, you know I be dancing when the intro music come on.
I do
I be
too.
dancing. I don't know what it is about that music, man. I like
I
that though.
do.
I
Yeah.
like that.
And because it's coming to me, I have to, kind of. Well, you done caught me a
Got
few
straighten
times
up.
where I be dancing. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
I got to be careful. I don't want to knock something over. That we got here because I'm turning to Lil John and start tearing the club up. So
Yeah, exactly.
I got to be careful.
Exactly. Exactly. You enjoy your 4th of July?
I did. I did. I didn't do anything specific. I just really just I did. I went and picked me up some new weight sets, some dumbbells. I got me some extra dumbbells. So I
Okay.
was
All
happy
right.
about that.
You gonna take
So
your shirt off again in your next
nah,
profile picture.
nah. I'm done. I'm done with that. One and done. You're
As one
probably
off.
never. Well, I'll never say never, but you won't see that. Soon. Let's just say that.
Okay.
I'm
I
gonna
enjoyed
stop.
mine. I went to a cookout and a friend of mine, Alicia, this white
Yeah.
girl, gay couple, Alicia and Shelly. They invited us over to their place. They got this big old piece of land and had a good cookout, but they on farmland, and we got hit with a stampede of cows that got out the fence.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. I'm serious. Shut down the whole cookout, knocked over the grill and everything.
Mm.
So
They lucky they
yeah.
didn't get made into burgers because that would have been it.
They lucky it didn't make the news because we had cameras out. I got to send you the
Hey,
footage. That's crazy.
send me that. Send me that.
We'll
All right,
do.
Mo, let's get into it, man. So this is really just NBA talk. The season is over. OKC is the champs. They won, but obviously after that, a lot of stuff transpires really, really, really quickly in the NBA. You got the draft, you got free agency, and now you just got this talk about what the future holds. So we're gonna get into just some items, really quick for you. I would say just with this off season, because this is just off season talk. So it's whatever it is that you want to talk about. And I know you got a list. We'll get to the list
Hmm.
here in a little bit. But I know there's something that transpired or happened in off season that is your number one. So kind of what stuck out to you for this off season.
It's an overall theme for me. It's the changing of the guard. It's the changing of the guard. And I know we probably
Mm.
talked about it before. We seeing a new era. We're ushering in a new era, right? So you got the big noise about Cooper Flag coming in, and so the guys that are in place now, your Tatum's and Halliburton's, and we'll talk about them. It's like they are the prime players, but they're kind of the OGs now, right? They're the OGs, and your LeBrons and Steps, they the elders, right? They're the
Yeah, they on their
ancestors.
way out. They
Well,
on
they
their
didn't
way
quite the
out.
ancestors, but they're the elders.
Hmm.
And I think that jumped out to me for the first time. I'm like, wow, I remember watching some of these guys come to the league and at the end of their careers and the twilight of their careers, but another player in particular we'll talk about later, still getting good deals, still hold value. So
Hmm.
I just thought it was interesting to see that. Exciting. I mean, you know how I feel about the NBA. I'm trying to fall back in love with it.
You,
I'm trying not to
you
be so cynical like I am about Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith and them. Right?
let's we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do
Nah,
that.
we're
But
not we're not gonna do that. Not today. This
okay,
ain't the day for that.
that's not the day, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, I get it. Especially, I think right now for the NBA, coming off a 7 game NBA Finals and how everything played out, I, the iron is hot, as they say. They have
Hmm.
to strike. So like you said with the Cooper flag, I think probably for me, it was probably Dame. It's a lot of stuff, but with
Yeah.
Dame getting cut by, and I truly believe that maybe Dame said, you know what, let me go. If y'all got a problem or whatever,
Hmm.
bet it up, do it, let me go. So
Yeah.
I think the shock, the initial shock was, what is Milwaukee gonna do now? Because I know they got Miles Turner, but I look at it as like with Miles Turner, you kind of got two guys at the same position with him and Giannis. I know they're not going to play the same position, but what I'm getting at is two bigs, right? And
Hmm.
the two bigs, when I've looked at that combination of players, normally you have the inside guy, outside guy, or guard forward, guard center, something something like that, a combo. If you look at previous teams, so it's just interesting how Milwaukee is going to play this because they traded away their sharpshooter in Connaughton. So I'm like, what is Giannis going to do? Is Giannis happy about that? Is Giannis is going to believe into this team going into the future? So I think the Bucks, was one for me, and of course all it's a bunch of trades and free agency that happened out there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that and Boston unload him. We knew this was going to happen. Boston was going to have to get rid of players because they were paying everybody. So
Right.
it's a lot
Right.
of stuff in that. But yeah, it was the Bucks for me.
Right. Yeah. And going back to Boston, I mean, you right now, I think OKC is in a great situation to kind of avoid what's happening to Boston right now because they're so young. But I mean, Boston, I don't know. It's kind of a confusing, interesting situation at the same time. Listen, if you can't be good, be interesting, right?
I You know what? I think Boston though, mission accomplished. You paid all that money, you did all that stuff for a chip. You got it.
Hmm.
Obviously, they want to go back and Tatum, he's injured right now and he's on recovery and Jaylen Brown, uh, Porzingis is gone and all that. But I, I look at it, mission accomplished. You got what you
Yeah.
wanted. You paid all the money. You got a chip out of it. Now you just got to reboot, try and figure it out going forward. But I think the real question, and you asked this, and I'm just gonna get into it right now. OKC is OKC that team right now? And the reason I say that is because you said this. I'm using your words because you pointed out how there's been what, this is 7 or 8 NBA
Hmm.
champions. Nobody has
Seven.
has went back 7, so back to back. Is OKC? They're young, they're talented. They seem like they got all the pieces. They don't just depend on the three.
Hmm.
Could
And
OKC really be?
I'm
Could
telling
they
you,
be the next? Dare I say dynasty?
I will address that on my list once we get to
Okay.
that. But yeah, I mean, it's a good question. It's a good question because you're right. 7 teams in 7 years, right? It's getting more and more difficult to back to create a dynasty. It's becoming more and more difficult to have a Golden State or a Miami Heat, San Antonio Spurs, Los Angeles Lakers. It's not that type of league no more. It's not. And a lot of that has to do, in my opinion, with the idea of big market, small market. It's no such thing, right? It's the social media market, right? The world has become smaller in sports. So don't matter where you at, as long as you're good. How well is your organization being ran?
And I like what you said right there. That how well is your organization being ran? You absolutely right, because Indiana, OKC, some of these other teams that was just in the mix. I would consider Minnesota. Not a small market, but I wouldn't consider them just this major market like New York or anything like that.
Hmm.
So it's really, I think it put these GMs on notice and everything that like you got to know what you're doing, these days because they're showing that it can happen. Sam Presti, man, bro, this dude, he keeps getting talent after talent after talent. So you have to look at that formula and say, yeah, we need to do something like that.
Right, right. I agree. I agree.
But you mentioned it. We're just gonna go ahead and get into it right now because I know we're gonna. I got a problem. got a problem with your list, bro. So
I know
Mo
you got a
came up
problem.
with a
I already
list
know.
of tiered teams for the upcoming season, right? So we're gonna go to his empty bracket first. And as you
Okay.
see, he has pretty good, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Second round exit will make noise. And there's a title contender. So this is for the 2026 season that's coming up. So Mo got pretty good. The Pacers, the Grizzlies, the Pistons,
Yep.
and the Spurs. So let me speak before you say anything. Yeah, I got a problem
Okay.
with my Pistons. All right.
Yeah, I figured that. I
Pretty,
figured that'd be your first problem, if not your
pretty
biggest
good.
problem.
Pretty good. That
Pretty
I'm just
good,
saying.
but
They
yeah.
shouldn't be that low. I'm not saying title contenders just yet, but I am saying what they showed, especially missing Jaden Ivey. Did not have Jaden Ivey, lost Isaiah Stewart. They were playing shorthanded. No excuse. New York still won, but I'm just saying to me, I think they showed a lot more than just pretty good. Your Pacers, I understand that with Halliburton.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about the Memphis, and I guess I'll let you speak on the Spurs.
Okay. So, all right, let me go to your Pistons. Let me say this. So, Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duran, I expect them to take steps forward, right? But, however, in order for them to, I'm just not quite ready to put them in that next tier. With the teams that I got in the next tier, I'm not ready to put them on that level, right? But I mean, it's a solid team. I think they're young. I think they coming. But right now in that conference, they are just kind of where teams like Indiana were for a while, right?
Disrespectful. Okay, go
Yeah,
ahead. Sorry.
going to Memphis. So let's go to Memphis. So with Memphis, I think that the Desmond Bain trade to me, they kind of said we kind of in a slight rebuilding phase, right? We kind of in a rebuilding phase right now, and I don't know if that team is just the type of team that I can see just really, getting out of the first round at this point in that conference, and let alone make some noise, right? The Spurs to me is probably the one I struggle with the most in this tier because the Spurs could easily be a top three seed, right? I just got them going out in the first round. I got them
Mm,
going out early. I got them going
okay.
out in the first round, and it's hard for me to really truly justify that. But this has got to be the Wemby year. Everything that we thought he was going to be, that we think he is, he got to show us this year. He
This
got
is
to show
this
us
is year
because
three, right?
because if yeah, everybody is getting
Okay.
better. Everybody's getting better. Everybody is getting better. So you got to take that step. So right now, because you got to think of it's a lot of teams not even on this list. And once we get done with it, you will see. And I'm pretty sure it's a few of them that you're going to want to point out and
Mm-hmm.
ask, okay, well, what happened to them? What happened to them? What happened to them? But so everybody on my list is good. They are good teams, right? But it's all
Okay.
about where are they? And with the Pacers, the only reason the Pacers even made this list is because they just left the finals in a 7-game series. But with no Halliburton, no Miles, even though Miles Turner was, in my opinion, trash in the finals, he's gone. I don't see them. They may not even make the playoffs. They may not even make it out the play-in. They may not. They may not. We'll see.
I I think you're
They may not
underestimating
make it out the play-in.
I think you're underestimating Siakam and Nimhard and Nesbitt. Like
I saw him play.
I,
I saw him play in the finals, man. And listen, shout out to them for getting that far, man. But you're not gonna sit here and tell me that. I mean, with some of the
and the
moves that
coach
some of these teams made,
and
yeah,
the coach Rick Carlisle. Rick
Rick, one
Carlisle
of the
has had
best, one of
success
the best to do
everywhere
it.
he's went.
Which
Okay.
is why they are pretty good. But yeah,
All right. So your second round exit is Boston, your Lakers, which I'm surprised by that a little bit, but
hey, I'm
you
being
are
a
trying.
realist.
You normally do be fair. The Denver Nuggets and who is that? The Dallas Mavericks.
Dallas
So
Mavericks. Yep.
I'm just gonna say an Achilles injury. guys, to me, it really do take them a full year. They get back and they play and everything, but I still don't think they're 100%. The Lakers, I guess I really could, I'm not opposed to that because they still are, some pieces that they need to add. I know they added DeAndre Ayton, to stuff the middle, but I still think, they're a work in progress. The Nuggets, they'll always be there. It's just kind of what's going to happen. We already said Jamal Murray is the glue guy that makes that thing work. Now with the
Right.
with the Mavs, that's interesting because although Kyrie didn't have an Achilles injury, he did the ACL, so he, relatively he should be good when it comes, to money time. So Cooper Flag, it sounds like, maybe Cooper Flag, you giving him, some credit and good success, but they still out in the second round.
They still out in the second round. So
Okay.
let's stay right there with the Mavericks. So
Okay.
with the Mavericks, listen, right now you. I think the Kyrie Irving injury is bigger than the discussion surrounding it. But like you said, Kyrie is, he's a veteran player. He got enough money and enough sense to go out and get one of the best doctors he can find. I think he'll be okay by the time, it's money, like you say, it's money time. But I think that may be a little too late, right? Now, Anthony Davis, Klay Thompson, they can keep the things afloat if they're healthy, right? And that's a big if. 'Cause, I mean, I'm talking surrounding both of them. It's a big if. Cooper Flag, I do think he's going to be special, right? But Cooper Flag cannot be the leader of this team with conference finals expectations. So that's why I got them making it to the second round, but I think that's their ceiling. And I think it's actually going to take a little bit of good fortune for that to even happen. So, but the Nuggets are the Nuggets, but the Nuggets are old. So you got to go in the second round. I'm sorry. The Lakers. LeBron James is the king, but LeBron James is old. And DeAndre Ayton, in my opinion, is not enough. With Austin Reeves as the third best player, you're good enough to get to the playoffs. You're good enough to get to that second round. You're good enough to beat a Memphis. But after that, it's lights out for them. And the Celtics, with everything they got going on right now, that's championship pedigree. Championship pedigree. And I think that's another team that's in a rebuilding phase. But with no Tatum, that's as far as you go. That's as far as you go. This is high praise for these teams, man. I want you to understand that.
Okay.
This is high
Okay.
praise for these teams.
All right.
You
I,
disagree?
I,
Go ahead.
no, I think with Boston, I just I guess what I'm looking at is that I don't expect them to make threes like they made this past season going into next season. Those shots, it was a great thing that they were doing, but I don't know if they're going to be able to continue that because to me that's what I think really got them in trouble, and that's New York made them pay, you know,
Hmm.
for that. But I mean I don't have a problem. I'm not that part of your list. I understand. That
Okay. Okay.
is.
We in
I'm
agreement?
not. I'm not. I'm
Okay.
not.
All right.
I'm not. I like so
Okay.
second round exit. Now we got make some noise, right? Who gonna make some noise, right?
All right.
Got
So
Cleveland, New
now,
York, Minnesota, and Orlando.
listen,
That
listen,
one is
listen,
going to
listen.
be interesting.
Now we getting into the thickums. Now we
Okay.
getting into the thickums. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go. What do I want to start? I think I want to start with the Magic. All right. So they got that young core, right? Paulo Banchero, however you say his name, Franz Wagner. All right. That's your reason
Bang.
for optimism.
They just got bang.
Right. That's your reason for optimism right there. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they'll probably still do some more things with some draft picks that they have. Right. And I mean, I don't know exactly what that could be, but that's the team right there. That's the team that I'm looking for this year. That's the team I got my eye on. All year long, I'm watching Orlando Magic because now you got my attention. Now you
Mm-hmm.
got my attention. And in that conference, with everything going on with Indiana and Boston, all right, now it's time to strike. So go out there and get it. Go out there and get it. So the T Wolves, that's probably the most interesting team on the list because I'm kind of torn with should they run it back? If not, What do they really need? What are they really missing? Do you just run it back with what you have and learn from this playoff experience you had this year?
2
I
times to
say
the
yeah.
Western Conference Finals.
Exactly. I don't think you want to go and start trying to roll the dice and shake it up a little bit. Leave it alone, run it back. You solid. You got what it takes to win it all, right? They're going to make some noise. The Knicks,
Hold
all
on,
right. Oh,
because I want New York to see this. Go ahead. Say what you got to say about New York.
all right. The Knicks, Mike Brown. I think that was a great pickup. The only problem I got with the Knicks right now is that your two best players don't play no defense. You make me nervous. You make me nervous. But your two best players are great players. Two of the best players in that conference. And we've seen what you can do. You know, you just showed us what you can do this past season, right? And now, again, just like Orlando, you're in a great situation to make some noise with everything
Mm-hmm.
going on with Boston and Indiana. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. But you got one problem:
What's that?
the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers. The East is theirs for the taking. The Knicks and the Magic, that's your only threat. The Cavs, dude, I'm telling you, I think right now, that's your Eastern Conference championship, depending on how everything play out in the playoffs. And man, I want to watch it. I'm there for it, just like I was there for last year's conference finals. So yeah,
Okay.
these are your teams that's gonna make some noise, and I think they're gonna make a lot of noise.
You know what? I'm not Orlando. I do like that because with Jalen Suggs and and some of those other young guys that's on that team. Yeah, they could make some noise. I think they played well in the playoffs this year. It's just they're young. They were going against a more experienced team. But with New York, the thing that just scares me is if they get off to a slow start, if there is maybe not, everybody on board, not that people would hate Mike Brown and everything, but that just takes time. Sometimes you just can't come in and just turn that switch on being a coach because the expectation is the NBA finals. That's it. There's nothing, and Mike Brown knows that. He knows that. I
Yeah,
mean, he played, he coached LeBron and coached for the Lakers. So, I mean,
yeah.
he's ready for it, but I
He's no
just think Mike
stranger
Brown,
to it, man.
they gon' they they gonna use him as the scapegoat, man. If it don't work out, and that's crazy. But yeah, they will
But
make
how
noise,
many?
and this is like you said, this is their opportunity because with the Celtics, whatever going on with them, with Halliburton being hurt, with some of these other teams just young in the Eastern Conference, with the Bucks, with Dame going, like this is the window.
Yeah,
You
and I
you got to do it this year. So yeah, I do think they'll make
tell
some
you though,
noise, but I don't know. But they didn't make
I,
your title contender list, which
no, they didn't. They didn't. But let
your
me before
title
you go,
contenders.
before you go,
Okay, my
can I
bad.
say something about Mike Brown? Let me say something about Mike Brown. Mike Brown has been a scapegoat before, and I feel like this is the type of roster. This is a Mike Brown roster, right? If I'm gonna be the scapegoat, then I'm gonna be the scapegoat not because I have veteran players just throw me under the bus like that or whatever. He don't want to go through that again. So I think Mike Brown is the perfect fit. I think he wanted, and I think he got the team to do it. You know, and so hopefully he can coach up some defense. But yeah, if you can do that, man, it's gonna be a problem. So yeah, title
All right,
contenders.
title
This
contenders.
is gonna be quick and easy.
And then there's only a few left. Title contenders is
There's only a couple.
Houston Rockets and OKC. Okay, do we really need to talk? I mean, we are going to talk about it, but we understand
Yeah,
why
we
OKC is
really need to
there.
talk about it.
But
We
the
really need to talk about it.
Rockets, are you telling me KD? We're not even talking about putting them over the hump. We are talking about cream of the crop now because of KD is what you're saying. Is that what you're saying?
I'm gonna answer that with a question.
Oh, okay.
Because if you notice my title contenders are two Western Conference teams, which tells you, which means your champion is coming out the West, right?
Okay.
Despite how good the East is. But I'm gonna answer that question with a question. So, what, what were the Houston Rockets missing? What were they missing?
Veteran
They, they were
presence,
missing exactly what they just got. They were
sharpshooter.
missing what they was missing right there at the end of a game. Right
Mm-hmm.
there when you need somebody to get buckets to close out a game.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't have got a better pick than KD. That's a game
Okay.
changer. Perfect fit for KD. He ain't got to come out and play all that crazy defense. He ain't even really got to give you a million minutes. When they need buckets, you got buckets. And that right there, that team, the way that team is structured, the way that team is built, hey man, listen, with KD out there, stay healthy, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem. So yeah, out of all of those teams that's gonna make noise, that's going out in the second round, that's pretty good, but ain't none of them the Houston Rockets, except for the OKC Thunder.
Okay.
Oklahoma City Thunder, your NBA champion, the second youngest team to ever do it. They hungry. They out for blood. They want to prove to the league that this is not a fluke, right? And I think one of the things that's going to drive them, one of the biggest motivators for OKC is going to be with Halliburton going down in the game seven. You got some people that wanted to put an asterisk beside that. And I think most people with any common sense that watch the game, that follow the NBA, that watch sports, they probably had OKC closing this thing out anyway. But just to go ahead and show you, listen, we ain't no bubble team. We ain't a team that you need to put an asterisk beside. We're gonna come back and we're gonna do it again. We young, we hungry, all the contracts are fine. Let's go ahead and get it before they have to break this thing up. Because nobody has done it in 7 years. We gotta go back to back. Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm not ready to call them a dynasty, but I'm ready to say this is gonna be your first back-to-back champion that we've had in 7 years.
Mm.
Argue with
Back
my
to
list, Jimmy.
back to
Back to
back.
back.
You know
Back to
what?
back.
You convinced me about Houston. I mean, I like Houston this past year, but what you just said about KD and what they didn't have and what they do now have, okay. I'm not. I can roll with that. And Houston was was a good team anyway. So yeah, I can roll with that. Okay, see, we don't need to. I mean, I had a few questions, but the main one was just the Pistons. But I'm not gonna hold that against you this time.
So
This time.
where would you put the Pistons on that list?
Oh, I'm putting the Pistons making
Who you
some
switching them
noise.
with?
I'm putting them
Okay.
making some noise.
As
They
opposed to who? Pull
huh?
the list back up. Pull the list back up. Pull up the title contender list. Let's see.
Title contender?
I want to know where you're moving Detroit around. I'm
Oh,
just
okay.
curious.
Easy, easy. I would move Detroit over the Mavs. Uh if I want to say make some noise, I would put them over the Orlando Magic. Now I may be a little biased and a little fandom there, but I
Mm,
just don't believe pretty good, but that's all I'm saying. That that
mm.
that right there when I'm looking at the list, when I'm looking at Kay Cunningham, he got the experience that he needed in the playoffs. He understands now what it's like to be the man and what you have to do to get, because we know those games against the Knicks, some of those games they just New York just took it from them and they lost it, and those are games that they could have won. But New York showed them what playoff basketball was. I think that experience, getting back Jaden Ivey, you just added Karis LeVert and Duncan Robinson, so you got your sharpshooter. We don't know what's
Yeah.
going on with
I
Malik
forgot about the
Beasley.
Duncan Robinson move.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on with Malik Beasley. So you can't depend on that, because that was our 3-point shooter. We lost Tim Hardaway, we lost Schroeder, but you got guys who played well in those playoff matches that I think will mature. And you got a guy in Bickerstaff, in the coach, that I believe that he will take them. He got them to believe. They believe now. And that
Yeah,
just says something.
that's gonna
So
be a tough one, man. It's gonna be it's gonna be tough for them to move around like that in that conference. I just,
we'll see.
but we'll see. We'll
We'll
see,
see.
man. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll
But
see. I gotta leave him right there for right now.
all right.
I gotta
All
leave him right
right.
there for
All
right now.
right. That's Mo's list.
We'll find a reason to come back to him.
Yeah. You know what, Mo? You know what we need to talk about? Maybe we'll do this next episode.
Okay. What's that?
Top 5 hottest running backs. And what I mean by that is top 5. Like, you got your Barrys, you got your Emmets, you got your Walter Payne. We already know them. But it's guys that they had a heck of a 2-3 year run that people kind of forget. And then when you go and you look at their numbers, you just like, he was that dude for, 2-3 years.
Yeah.
I think I
Yeah.
want to do a top 5. Top 5
Okay.
hottest running backs.
You get your
I
list, I
got
get
one.
mine.
I got one in mind, but I ain't gonna say it right now.
Nah, don't say it. Don't say it. We just only thing we need to establish is who we just not even gonna mention certain running backs because we already
Yeah,
know. We
yeah.
just gotta establish that. But yeah, you make your list, I make mine.
All right, all right.
You make your list, I make mine. Let's have some fun with it.
Yeah, for sure.
And my list gonna be better than yours.
Now that is just disrespectful, but you know what? That's all right. That's all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, you see there, Mo gave his list. I don't have too much of a problem with it. It was pretty good, pretty good. NBA season, it doesn't stop. I'm sure something to be popping off this summer, and we'll continue to talk about that among other things. But again, like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, man. Make comments, do all that stuff. Shoot us an email, the waitaminuteshow@gmail.com if it's something that you want us to talk about, and we'll do that as well. So until next time, man, we're going to holler at you later. 2 things as always: stay positive and push forward. Peace.